I'm a really big fan of MKBHD. And out of curiosity and as a web designer, I thought, well, how does MKB's website look like? Honestly, it's actually really good. The site checks off all the things that you would expect to find on a business card. You have his name, a description, and his contact info. But after watching so many of his videos, I noticed that MKB's style is missing from his website. So in this design exercise, we're going to be taking a look at how I would redesign MKB's website. There's a lot to cover, so let's get started. This is how I would redesign MKB's website. For the background, you have matte black that contrasts really well with MKB's red and white logo. A nice design detail is the texture added to the matte black. At the top left, we have MKBHD. The top center was a late addition. This area is intended for messages, announcements, or promotions. I have the icons announcement with a link as an example. A nice design detail is the thumbs up icon from the official launch icon set and the subtle tilting animation. And on the top right, we have contact. This is the hover effect. It has the same bold color as the navigation at the bottom center. The reason for placing the navigation at the bottom was to make the site feel more like an app. It's sticky, so the bar stays in place as you browse the page. And when you see it on your phone, it makes perfect sense. Yes, this is a responsive website. I should point out that the site is coded, so this is not a static image or a mockup. You'll also notice the message at the top center gets pushed down for more breathing room. Back to the desktop view, this is the hover effect for the navigation links. A nice design detail is when you scroll down, MKBHD and Contact slide up and out of the way. And when you scroll up, they slide back down into view. When you arrive on the site, the announcements and the navigation slide in. Let me refresh the page to show the effect. The links in the navigation take you to their location on the page. So although I expanded the content on the site, I still kept everything to a single page. A nice design detail for the navigation is a yellow bar that lets you know where you are on the page. So when you reach MKBHD, the bar slides in. I felt having a dedicated section for MKBHD was important because it provides a proper introduction to MKB, who he is, what he does, and why. MKB always starts his videos with, "Hey, what's up? MKBHD here." So that's what I used for this headline. For the paragraph, I tried to write what MKB would say. Thanks for dropping by. Like you, I love to get my hands on the latest tech. That's why I have a YouTube channel where I review consumer electronics and give you my honest opinion on devices that you may be interested in. Follow me on any of my channels down below for the latest updates. And one more thing, if you like the t-shirt, check out the merch store. I have a link to his YouTube channel with a TV icon to make it stand out. One more thing is a nod to Apple with a link to his merch store and a button to contact him. The hover effect. You start to see a design language come together now. The photo on the right is MKB's profile picture on Twitter. I cut out the orange background and stretched it to take the full width of the browser using CSS. I can't stress enough how important having the photo is because it puts a face to a name for those meeting him for the first time. The next section is dedicated to all his channels. Channels has a white outline for contrast when there's overlap. The hover effect. The animated background was inspired by MKB's video intros. CSS was used for the animation, and it's halfway there. I would replace the animation with a looping video instead if MKB wanted to use this redesign. Directly below are the top channels to follow MKB on. We have his YouTube channel, Waveform Podcast in black to make it stand out, Twitter, and Instagram. I really like the taglines for these. The Daily for Twitter, and All Snap for Instagram. The hover effect. Would be cool to animate the waveform logo on hover where the vertical white bars does a wave from left to right. The custom graphic on the right is about 75% done. I still need to add a few more details, but I'm really happy with how it's turning out so far. The last section is for the merch store. The headline Crispy Merch also has an outline for contrast when there's overlap. And the hover effect? For the animated background, it was inspired by MKB's video endings. Sponsors was added as a thank you to supporters of MKBHD and a way for those who are interested to contact him. Here's navigating the page using the links. For those who discover it, this is jumping all the way back to the top using MKBHD. A nice design detail is certain items will slide in when they're in view. Let me refresh the page to show the effect. Here's how the full page looks like on a phone. I also rounded the corners for the MKB section on mobile. For channels, the custom graphic is hidden. And in Crispy Merch, the second t-shirt is hidden. After scrolling through the page and seeing all the pieces come together, I'm really happy with how things turned out. Let's talk icons. In designing the website, 2 custom icons were created for the navigation: channels and merch. The design process for channels was so much fun. This is a behind-the-scenes look at how the channels icon was created. I started by looking at the individual pieces that make up channels. The question I asked myself was, if one thing tied them all together, what would that be? The concept of pressing a play button resonated with me. The play button. There's a universal icon for that. Well, wait a minute. There's not one option, but several in channels. So what if I doubled the play icon? Now we have a different problem. There's a universal icon for this, and it represents fast forwarding. So I experimented with size and position and settled on this, but felt something else was missing. That something was balance. After adding a third play button and trying out different sizes and positions, I'm really happy with how the channel icon turned out. And that's a wrap. I hope you liked this design exercise. Let me know what you think in the comments below, and thanks for watching.